The restaurant was brighter than anything Emily had ever stepped foot in. The tall chandeliers sparkled like drops of pure gold, the marble floors shone, and the smell of freshly baked bread and roasted steak filled the air. Emily tugged nervously at the sleeves of her second-hand dress. It had once belonged to her older sister, Veronica, who was supposed to be here tonight, not her. Veronica was the glamorous one, the beautiful one, the one who got invited to blind dates with CEOs of companies Emily couldn't even pronounce. But instead of Veronica's elegant heels clicking across the marble floor, it was Emily's scuffed shoes, borrowed and half a size too big, that carried her forward. "Just pretend to be me," Veronica had said casually as she brushed on her red lipstick earlier that evening. "I can't go tonight. I have plans." "He won't know the difference. He's just some rich guy anyway. You'll be fine." Emily had tried to argue, but her sister had been firm. And deep down, Emily knew she didn't have a choice. Their family owed money, their mother's health was failing, and Veronica had always treated Emily as the shield for her mistakes. So Emily found herself stepping into a world she didn't belong to, praying the man waiting at the table wouldn't see through her. She spotted him almost immediately. He was impossible to miss. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a sharp jawline and a gaze that seemed to pierce right through the noise of the restaurant. His suit was perfectly tailored, his hair neat but not overly styled, and sitting across from him was a little girl, no older than 6, clutching a stuffed bunny in her arms. Emily froze. Nobody had told her the man would bring his child to the date. The man stood slightly as she approached, his eyes narrowing as they scanned her up and down. For a second, Emily thought he had caught on. Her throat went dry, but she forced a smile. "You must be Veronica," he said finally, his voice deep, controlled, and somehow commanding the whole room's attention. Emily nodded quickly. "Yes. Veronica. It's nice to meet you." He studied her for a long moment, then gestured for her to sit. "I'm Alexander Carter. But you can call me Alex." Emily sat down, her hands trembling under the table. The little girl tilted her head curiously, her big brown eyes innocent yet sharp. "Daddy, she looks different," the child whispered. Emily's heart stopped. Alex gave a low chuckle. "Children notice everything, don't they? This is Lily. I hope you don't mind that I brought her. She doesn't usually let me go anywhere without her." Emily smiled awkwardly. "Oh, not at all. She's adorable." Lily studied Emily for another second before suddenly grinning. "I like her dress." Relief washed over Emily. She could play along for a while, she told herself. One dinner, and then she could go home. Veronica could deal with the consequences later. But dinner with Alexander Carter was nothing like Emily imagined. He wasn't the arrogant, shallow businessman she had pictured. Instead, he asked thoughtful questions, listened carefully to her answers, and shared small glimpses of his life raising Lily on his own. He wasn't flashy, he was intense, yes, but not cold. Every word carried weight, every glance made Emily feel like he could see far more than she wanted to reveal. "Tell me about yourself," he asked midway through dinner. Emily froze. Her mind screamed, "Remember, you're Veronica. You can't mess this up." "Oh, well, I've been busy taking care of family lately," she said carefully, trying not to reveal too much. "I help out at home a lot. My mother isn't well." Alexander's gaze softened, just slightly. "That's admirable. Most people these days are too focused on themselves to take care of others." Emily's cheeks warmed. She wasn't used to compliments. Lily piped up suddenly. "Daddy, can she come to the park with us tomorrow? Please?" Emily nearly choked on her drink. Tomorrow? She hadn't planned to see him again. She was supposed to vanish after tonight. Alexander raised an eyebrow, watching Emily closely. "Well, Veronica? Would you like to?" Her lips parted to say no, but something about the way Lily's eyes sparkled, full of hope, made her hesitate. She couldn't bring herself to disappoint the child. "Sure," she whispered, nodding. "I'd love to." But deep down, Emily knew she was playing a dangerous game. One slip, and everything would come crashing down. And yet, as she left the restaurant that night, Alexander Carter's gaze lingered on her just a little too long, as if he already knew she wasn't who she claimed to be. The next morning, Emily told herself she wouldn't go. She couldn't. But when Lily's sweet little voice echoed in her mind, begging her to come, she found her feet carrying her to the park anyway. The scene was surreal. Alexander, in a simple shirt and slacks, looked less like the intimidating CEO she'd met at the restaurant and more like an ordinary father. He pushed Lily gently on the swings, and his laughter, deep and warm, echoed through the park. When he saw Emily, a rare smile touched his lips. "You came." She smiled nervously. "I did." For hours, Emily played with Lily, pushed her on the swing, and listened to her endless stories. The bond that formed between them felt natural, almost too natural. And Alexander noticed. His eyes followed Emily whenever she laughed with Lily, whenever she brushed the little girl's hair out of her face, whenever she showed patience most people didn't. "You're different," he said finally, when Lily ran ahead to play. Emily stiffened. "Different?" "From what I expected," Alexander continued. "I was told Veronica was shallow. Interested in money, appearances. But you're nothing like that. You're kind. Real." Her stomach twisted. She couldn't keep the lie going much longer. But how could she confess without ruining everything? As the day wore on, Alexander insisted on driving her home. Panic set in, if he saw where she lived, in the small rundown neighborhood with broken fences and peeling paint, he'd know immediately that she wasn't Veronica. "Drop me off here," Emily blurted when they neared her street, pointing to a random corner. Alexander frowned. "Are you sure? It doesn't look safe." "It's fine," she said quickly, stepping out of the car. He didn't look convinced, but he didn't push. Instead, his voice dropped low. "Veronica. I don't want this to end. You and Lily, you fit into our lives too easily. I want to see you again." Her heart pounded. Every part of her screamed to tell him the truth. But she couldn't. Not yet. That night, Emily lay awake, guilt consuming her. She was falling into something dangerous, something she couldn't control. The following week only pulled her deeper. Dinners, park visits, even a trip to Alexander's company where Lily insisted on showing her father's office. Everywhere she went, Emily felt the weight of the lie pressing on her chest. But she also saw Alexander's walls crumbling. He wasn't just a CEO. He was a man who had been burned by betrayal, who raised his daughter alone with fierce protectiveness, who secretly longed for someone to understand him. And against all odds, that someone had become Emily. It all came crashing down one evening when Veronica returned unexpectedly. She stormed into the living room, furious. "What did you do?" "Alexander Carter called me. He wants to see me tomorrow. He thinks I'm you." "What game are you playing, Emily?" Emily's blood ran cold. He had called her sister, the real Veronica. The truth was about to unravel whether she was ready or not. The next day, Alexander stood at the cafe, waiting. His jaw tightened when he saw both women approach. His eyes flickered between them, sharp and unreadable. "You're not Veronica," he said quietly, his gaze locking on to Emily. Her throat constricted. She wanted to run, to disappear, but Alexander stepped closer. "From the beginning, I knew something didn't add up. But Lily loves you. And..." His voice softened. "So do I. Tell me the truth, Emily." Tears welled in her eyes as the weight finally broke. "I'm sorry. I never meant to lie. Veronica sent me in her place. I thought it would be one night. But then I met you. And Lily. And I couldn't stay away." Silence hung heavy in the air. Veronica scoffed and rolled her eyes, but Alexander ignored her. His eyes remained locked on Emily's trembling face. Then, slowly, he reached out and took her hand. "You should have trusted me. But I'm glad you didn't walk away. Because I don't want you to leave, not now, not ever." Lily came running up at that moment, clutching Emily's hand. "Daddy, can she stay with us forever?" Alexander looked at Emily, his expression firm yet gentle. "That's up to her." Emily broke into tears, realizing she had found something she never thought she deserved: love, family, and a place to belong. And from that moment, she knew she would never walk away again.